This is Anna Eckstein with Naples Ultimate Selling Team, and in today's video we'll be reviewing inflation, unemployment rate, retail sales, and much more on the economy, but also be reviewing a Southwest Florida real estate market update for February 2023. And if you do like to watch my video, please click on the button below to subscribe and like the video. Thanks so much. Let's start. All right, so let's take a look to see what's happening with inflation in the United States. And we'll be reviewing the inflation data for the February 2023. The annual inflation rate is actually slowed down to the 6% in February. And this was the lowest since actually September of 2021. And it's compared to the January rate of 6.4%. You can see that clearly on the chart below. If we compare it, also the CPI, it's increased by 0.4% month over the month in February, which is actually slowing down from 0.5 raise was in January. This is month over the month. So if we're talking about the core inflation is more like, think about like services inflation. So it's excluding volatile items such as food and energy. And that in February of 2023, it actually went down to 5.5% year over year, compared as lowest actually since December of 2021, and compared to 5.6% that was in January. So the month over month is actually rose by 0.5% from month early in February, following 0.4 increase from January. And that was actually above the market expectation, because the expectation was 0.4. So it actually was a little bit hotter than market expectation. So if we take a look, I'm not going to go too much over this chart, but if you do like to pause and take a look, compare the month over month, what the inflation was traveling on different categories, you're please welcome to do so. Just pause it, review it for yourself. But let's move on to the next chart. And the next chart we will be reviewing is producer price index. So this is inflation that related to production side. So if for the producer inflation is going in up, eventually they will transfer that to the consumer side. That was the first slide that we've actually been looking at. So producer price index is actually in the United States increased by 4.6% a year early to February 2023 from 5.7%. So it's actually decreased quite a bit from the January and previous months, and actually missed the market expectation, which was really good. So market expectation was 5.4 and came in lower at 4.6 this year after year. And actually went down month over month, went down to 0.1% in February 2023. Again, market expectation was 0.3. So it's actually really good news for the producer inflation, because it was much more lower, even way below the market expectation, right? So the consumer, the core producer inflation in the United States, that's minus volatile items, and that decreased to 4.4% in February of 2023, the lowest since March 2021, and well below market forecast at 5.2%. Core producer price index month over month was also revised to 0.1 in January, compared to the market forecast at 0.4, which is nice as well. So if we're talking about non-farm payroll, as you know, the Fed tried really hard to fight with inflation to lower in the United States, and one of they raised an interest rate to cool down a little bit economy. So the market forecast still added 311,000 jobs in February of 2023, well above the market forecast at 205. And following, actually, the January data was at 517,000, but they did revise to 504,000 jobs being added in January of 2023. Unemployment rate actually went up to 3.6% from 3.4% in January. So we're talking about resale as well. So resale in the United States increased 5.4% in February 2023, the same month in the previous year. And in January, as you know, it was 7.7%, which was quite hot. So retail sales month over month was down 0.4% in February 2023 compared to the market forecast of 0.34. And that's what we had months over the month. If we're talking about the building permits, would like to share with you information as well. The building permits was up in February compared to the January. You can see the numbers. And also the building permits month after month rose by 13.8% compared to the January at 0.1. The housing starts is the homes they've been building. Those ones, they were up in February as well. And month over month, they increased 9.8% compared to minus 2% in January. So if we're talking about the mortgage rate, this is we break down by weekly. So the mortgage application in the United States were up 6.5% from the week ending March 10th, extending 7.4% from the previous week. And this is from data from the Mortgage Banker Association. Application for refinance was increased 4.8%. For the house purchase, a home loan were up 7.3%. So meanwhile, the average contract interest rate on 30-year fixed mortgage rate on confirming loan balances $726,200 or less was fell to 6.71%, declining for the first time in 5 weeks after collapsing of the SVB bank. So going in where we at in today's real estate market, you know, what kind of challenges we have is in inventory. As you probably saw my previous market updates, we saw that inventory been rising throughout the United States consistently for the past year. But it's interesting, I found this stats that even those that it's been rising the inventory, but interesting that if we take 7 last Februaries through the year, you can actually see that we still 47.4% lower on inventory throughout the United States. Now we will talk about our local Southwest Florida market, but we're just talking about overall US. So in your local real estate market, maybe this is not going to be 47%, but it will be somewhat less, more. So you always have to track your local data. But throughout the United States, we still at 47% less the homes for sale that overall that we had before the pandemic. And the change in inventory, even this is month over month. So we actually lost 6.1% of inventory throughout the United States. And you can see the actually breakdown by the state. So like in Florida, we lost what, minus 1.5%. In some states, you can see as much as 10% of inventory. This is in February, compare month over month. So that we're comparing February 2023 to the January of 2023. So, you know, where I shared the chart many times, actually, I just wanted to understand the reason why we're struggling so much with the inventory, even though we added so much inventory. But for the past 14 years, the new homes were built was much more below the level that we had previously in the history. So we're still struggling with the new construction. So, and this is based on 52-year average. We're still below 14 years straight. That's huge. Now, some of the prediction that for market forecast, you can see that they still said that we are short of millions of the homes. And you can see between Realtor.com, Bank of America, Freddie Mac, Mortgage Stanley. I mean, they all predict quite a difference between each other. If you keep wondering what it is, it's just a measure how they measure. So at the end of the day, you can see overall flow that they still said that no matter what you're looking at, that we still said that was still shortage of the homes in the United States by the experts. the prediction of how much the home prices falling from the peak, and the peak we define somewhere in June through the December of 2022. You can also see that's across the United States. We will take a look what a local real estate market look like. I do have the data. So stay tuned to the end of the video, because that's what we'll be reviewing our local market in Southwest Florida for the February 2023. And estimated home prices, again, in my opinion, like I like to understand and watch what the expert thinks, you know, what the appreciation will be for the, you know, they say that homes will be depreciated on average minus 1.61% in 2023, but they do expect appreciation for the 2024, 25, 26, 27. Again, for me, like I like to see it and understand, but I really think it's just so much happening with this economy right now, and especially with this banking, financial problems that we having with this banking industry. I just really think that there's a lot of things more to come, and I mean, it's my personal opinion, but I think just financial crisis just begun. You know, I don't think they over, and I just think we're still in a lot of trouble. So to me, to look this appreciation, I think time will tell, but we'll see what happens. So this is appreciation where they said that, again, potential growth in household wealth over the next 5 years. They do predict that based on $40,000 home purchase in January of 2023, you could actually potentially expect in 2028 over $54,000 in equity on $400,000 purchase. We'll see how that's true. We'll see in a couple of years. So interesting this, you know, like I always, you know, think of different things what's going on with our economy, but this is kind of to give you an idea why our real estate market is not crashing. Because think about 48% of mortgage residential properties in the United States were considered equity rich in the fourth quarter of last year, meaning the combined estimated amount of the loan balances and secure of those properties was more than 50% of the estimated market value. If you think about the statement, it's huge, because think about if you the seller and you gain, this is actually breakdown by the state, which really fascinating to me. Think about, like, if you look the state of Florida, I mean, for the past 5 years, gain 85% of equity, like in a house. This is like, to me, this is like unbelievable. Like that's like so huge, crazy number. And think about it, if you're the seller, you're sitting on 3% mortgage rate in today's market, and you sit on a tons of equity. I mean, unless you have some serious like situation with your family, maybe you need like emergency upsides or downsides, or like maybe job relocation, that type of thing. They have no choice, but you have to buy in today time. Like why would you sell your house for 3% mortgage to go what in 7% mortgage rate just because? You know, that's why you don't really see the huge downturn with the real estate market, in my opinion. Is that can change? Of course, anything can change. We don't have a crystal ball. But I think just the equity and those mortgage holders who hold in those homes, they're sitting in the homes really comfortably with that equity and 3% interest rate, you know. And another chart that I like to show to you. This is actually from first quarter of 1991. If you would purchase home in 1991 and hold today, you would be sitting potentially on 289.1% equity nationwide. And for matter of fact, in Florida, if you would purchase home in 1991, you would be sitting on 428% equity. That's like, well, wish I would purchase home in Florida in 1991. So let's talk about our Southwest Florida real estate market, what's happening in our local cities. And today we'll be covering Naples, Marco Island, Bonita Springs, and Estero market. And we will compare what happened in February of 2023 compared to a year ago in February 2022, but also what happened 30 days ago in January of 2023. And we will start talking with active inventory. Active inventory is the homes that have been for sale for the month of February. So you can see clearly that we have so much, regardless if you look in single family home or condo in Southwest Florida, throughout the city, you up in an active inventory from 121% to as much as 230% across the board in all those cities. This is awesome news for the buyers because they definitely start, looking different homes, have a choice. So there definitely is advantage for the buyer in this situation. If you're a seller, you definitely needs to look into what the best marketing you can do for your property to stand out from all of that active inventory that is being added to the market. If you compare 30 days ago, you slightly see increase of inventory as well, except to Marco Island. We lost about 5% of our active inventory compared to January of 2023. So there's a little bit more loss of active inventory, but on a single family home. On a condo, in that other hand, we actually increase our inventory in February compared to the month of February by 10%. So if we're looking for a new listings, is what the new listings, the sellers put in those properties for sale, right, in the months of February. So you can see definitely across the board on February compared to a year ago, we definitely increase in the new listings anywhere from 1% on the condos in Naples to as much as 43% on the condos in Marco Island. And also in January, it's kind of some mix, some up. You can definitely see the Marco we lost in February compared to the January 24% inventory, new listings, I'm sorry, on month of February for the single family homes. Also we down with the new listings for the condos in Marco Island, but we up like in Bonita Springs and Estero. So it's just kind of interesting how, we are all the cities in Southwest Florida, but they definitely reacting to real estate activities, depends on actual city. And if you're looking for a month supply, that's generally what it means is how long would take to sell your property, how many months on average would take to sell your property in Southwest Florida. And you definitely can clearly see that by increasing the inventory, by increasing the new listings, you clearly can see that in February a year ago, it went up as much, as little as 182% to as much as 433%. That's huge. You can clearly see on single family homes will take on average 4.1 months to sell in February of 2023 in Naples on single family. On the condos is 2.9 months. You can see as much as Marco Island increased for the condos 5 months, and Marco Island for single family homes increased to 8 months. So you can see definitely there's significant increase compared to a year ago. Compared to 30 days, you can also see increase, not as significant as you can compare a year ago, but the 30 days, you can still see a significant increase as much as 9% in Estero for single family home, and 13% for the condos in February in Marco Island, or 18% for the condos in Estero. So you definitely see that increase of the inventory and month supply. So showing per listing is on average how many people saw the average listing for single family homes and for the condos in Southwest Florida. And you can see that traffic is definitely going down. So it's less buyer demand. You can clearly see that in the month of February a year ago, the traffic slowed down as little as 36% in Naples on single family home to as much as 55% for the condos in Bonita Springs a year ago. So, so in February 2023, we significantly lost 50% roughly on some on the buyer's demand. And if you compare in February to January, that's 30 days. And we even lost up there as much as little as the 3% to Marco Island. Actually, demand went up in February 18% compared to January. And that's, we're talking about 30 days. So there's 18% of buyer demand increase for condos in Marco Island. So let's move on to the medium percentage of the last list price. So what I mean is whatever is the list price, and again, this is average, so there's some could be less, there's some could be more, right? But this is, we taking a medium of the sales price, how much those buyers negotiate between the last list price to the property that actually sold. And you can clearly see that regardless if it's a year ago or 30 days ago, well, especially a year ago, there's definitely, it's down. And it's down as much as 96%, 0.3. You can see the percent, they're all very close together. I wouldn't say that significantly. One city is different from other, or single family homes from condos, but you can see the percentage, what actually was from the last list price to what actually property sold, and comparing to the 30 days as well. So in Bonita, you can see it's actually increased a little bit. And in Naples on the condos, it increased as well. Not much, it's very minor, the increase. So if we're talking about the pending inventories, the homes that actually went under contract in months of February of 2023, we can compare it again a year ago and 30 days. And you can see that pending was kind of a mixed feeling for a single family home a year ago. So there's some was as low as 13% in Naples on single family home, but as much as up 6% or 8% in Bonita Springs on single family. And interesting for January, the in February compared to the January of 2023, the Marco Island actually gained 55% on pending homes. So, and in Estero as well, you can see 12%, which is interesting. Naples kind of lost 2% of those pendings. So that means that, you know, in February for single family homes in Naples, it was 2% less homes were under contract compared to the January. So that's how you're looking at this report. And condos, you can see also kind of a mix for the February of last year. So you can see compared to February of this year, you can see that we lost 12% and we gained in Marco Island 2% on the condos. In February compared to January, we gain across the board for the condos. In February, there definitely went more under contract, those condos, townhomes, as much as 30% in Bonita Springs. In Naples 17, you can clearly see them. And let's talk about median price per square foot that you can also see for single family homes and for the condos. So the price per square foot, medium price per square foot that is actually sold, you can see that for single family homes increased definitely in February 2023, but in Marco Island it's actually decreased by 7%. And in January, you can see the Naples was slightly decreased by 1% in February compared to January. Marco Island was increased, Estero decreased, Bonita increased. So you can see how the price per square foot are actually closed properties in February, even traveled 30 days period. Some cities increase, some decrease. The same concept you can see in for the condominiums. A year ago, across the board, you can see the all increase sold price per square foot. And in February 2023, for mostly they increased. You can see the only Marco Island is actually decreased price per square feet that is actually sold in for the condos in Marco Island by 10%. And medium sales price. Medium sales price also, you can see that for the single family homes, Naples, Estero, Bonita Springs a year ago, it's increased. Marco Islands was actually decreased a year ago, and in in February compared to 30 days, you can see that Naples, Bonita, Marco increased. Estero actually decreased by 12%. Condos, you see also the Marco Island decreased by 17%. It's medium sales price. And January, the Marco Island actually increased by 36%. And this is like 30-day period. This is quite interesting. And Bonita actually decreased by 14% in 30 days, guys. I'm not talking about a year, right? We're talking about 30 days period. So the dollar volume, I thought that would be interesting to share as well. If we can compare single family homes, you can see for most of the parts, they've been decreased by a year ago. The condos actually kind of mix, some increase, some decrease. And 30 days, you can definitely see the majority is increased for the single family homes and the condos. The only decrease that we have is for the condos in Bonita Springs, actually decreased dollar volume by as much as 31%. And also for single family homes, you can see decrease by 5%. But Marco Island is increased by 57% for the single family homes in a dollar volume sold. Our last chart that I'd like to share with you is the closed sales. So how many homes actually closed in the month of February 2023? You can see that single family homes compared to a year ago in Naples decrease closed sales in as much as 17%, Marco Island 9%, 21% in Estero. Bonita Springs, on the other hand, is interesting. It's actually increased by 18%. And 30 days ago, you can see also compared to January, you can see the Naples increase in the closed sales by as much as 33%. Look at this, Marco Island. I can't believe this. 107% in closed sales. It means that compared to the 30 days ago, there's 107% more closed sales were happened in February compared just 30 days ago, which is unbelievable. And Estero, you can see running flat on single family homes. The condos, we can also see it was decreased across the board a year ago and increased across the board as much as 32% on the condos in 30 days, sold more condos in 30 days in February of 2023 compared to the 30 days ago. And Marco, you can see 20%, Naples as much as 35 and 23. So the condos definitely was a win-win running situation for the months of February. And single family homes definitely in the months of February 2023 compared to the January of 2023 in Marco Island. So yeah, that's our real estate market update for Southwest Florida. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you find this video valuable for you and for your family. And if you're thinking of moving to Southwest Florida, I would love to offer my guidance. And also, if you're thinking of selling a property in Southwest Florida, I would love to give you a comprehensive market analysis for your home so you can determine what is the highest price possible to get your home sold in today's market. Thanks so much again. If you do like the videos, please click on the link below to subscribe the channel. It is helping algorithm with Google to give this information to as many people as possible. My name is Anna Eckstein, Naples Ultimate Selling Team. My phone number 239-249-4476. Thank you so much again and stay well. Bye-bye.